We're rolling.
G'day, well, we're in Sydney, Australia, and just so happens that we've got together an unbelievable group of people that are heavily involved in activism, in academic ways and street actions and using the media, becoming the media, and we thought what a golden opportunity to show how close together we work and how we plan to work closely together in the future, and that there's no division amongst these groups in particular. Where we're taking the best of the science and we're putting it on the street and we're doing it together. And I just want each person to introduce themselves very briefly, and we'll just Janice is going to lead a discussion about the direction of the movement and the unity that we're displaying today during the hard evidence tour down under. Cosmos.
Okay, my name is Cosmos. I'm a survivor of Mark Rothenberg, who was a passenger on Flight 93 and died on 9/11. I've been involved specifically in 9/11 Truth since about January 2002. I founded the 11th Day of Every Month campaign, which has spread around the world and inspired hundreds of actions, spread 9/11 Truth Street Action around the world, and truthaction.org.
Thank you.
My name is Stephen Jones, Emeritus Professor of Physics. I'm very interested in pursuing research related to understanding what really happened on 9/11, and I support street activism. I've done a little of it myself. I must say, when I first found out about 9/11, my own, privately, I heard about a protest of the war in Iraq, and I traveled about 50 miles to attend this protest quietly, and then hurried back to do my classes and so on. I mean, there's something about knowing the truth about what's going on that leads you to act. And so I join with my colleagues and friends as we pursue both the facts from a scientific point of view and what we can do in activism and pursuing this great goal that we all have of peace.
Janice Matthews.
I'm Janice Matthews from Kansas. Helped co-found the 9/11 Visibility Project in the summer of 2003 and built 47 groups in a lot of nations. 2004, this spring, 911truth.org was formed, and they asked me to be outreach coordinator. When our beloved director, David Kubiak, moved away to Japan, where we miss him to this day, I became executive director, which I am at this point, and represent about 250 grassroots groups, 6-year archive of information, calendar, lots of opportunities.
Richard Gage.
I'm Richard Gage, AIA. I'm an architect, a member of the American Institute of Architects. And 3.5 years ago, I was shocked to hear on the radio David Ray Griffin, who kind of awakened me to these facts that I had not seen on mainstream media at all. I was more shocked to find that there were no architects and engineers calling for a new investigation. So it was up to me, I suppose, to start Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. We now have almost 1,000 architects and engineers demanding a real investigation and educating the other architects and engineers and also the rest of our country and, in fact, the world. That's our goal.
Luke Rudkowski from WeAreChange.
Luke Rudkowski, WeAreChange. I think it's a lot easier if we just say our names and just say our associations. I don't have much to say about myself, so just Luke Rudkowski, WeAreChange.
Just call out Richard Gage, AIA.
Richard Gage, AIA architect.
Janice Matthews, 911truth.org.
Stephen Jones, Scholars for 9/11 Truth and Justice. I'm also a member of 911truth.org and AE 9/11 Truth and WeAreChange, just to show the unity that we have.
Cosmos, truthaction.org, and 9/11 Truth News.
It's a perfect example of collaboration. Luke is really different, and Cosmos is really different than me. Our focuses are different. There have been divisions between some of the groups, and yet, you know what? We're making it happen. With no training, with no professionals, with no foundation funding, we are making this happen. We are around the world. We are the majority of people who now don't believe that 9/11 is true. And when we have an issue where we think we ought to do it different ways, we have found ways over and over in these 6 years to make it happen anyway. I just think that was a perfect example of that. So here we are in Australia, where the truth movement has moved in a time when winter seems to be coming to America figuratively and literally, passing the torch to other countries to keep carrying this forward for an investigation. And we have specifically 9/11 Truth Action, 11th of every month represented, scientists, architects and engineers, professionals, to people who are broadening it out in the streets day and night. Age ranges, professional, we're amazing, we're everywhere. Anybody else?
What I think is remarkable is the growth of the architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth. I think Richard's done a tremendous job. And also WeAreChange. I look up on YouTube. I don't know how you do it, Luke, but I'm all the time seeing you on there in Pittsburgh. And it's just tremendous, really. We do have a lot of growth. We have a lot of resistance. And yet, I think that quietly people, many are waking up. I have a lot of people come up to me and say, I read your paper on active thermitic materials, for example. I support you, but keep that quiet, So grassroots were proceeding, and a lot of people are waking up, just not quite sure quite how to proceed. But as we continue, I think we have had some good ideas, and we'll keep at it and get this done.
It's a slow burner, but we continue to burn. We continue to move forward.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I'm most excited about with the 9/11 Truth Movement is these guys willing to get out in the street and create visibility where none existed before. These guys have the courage, and what we want to do is feed them the information that the architects, engineers, and scientists have come up with so that they can be visible, handing out flyers, handing out DVDs. This is where I think most of the people are going to wake up in this country, by seeing the people out on the street on the 11th of every month, every Saturday at Building 7. I want to hear what they're doing out on the street and what they need from the rest of us in the 9/11 Truth Movement.
I mean, it's not about just, working with each other or liking each other and being there. I mean, one reason why I think this is going to be productive is because we all go our own little separate ways and our separate paths. We all have our own different things that we do that we find effective. One thing we're just trying to tell everybody out there, let's not step in each other's ways. Let's help each other. Let's move together in a way where we could share resources, share information, and I'm not saying come together. I'm saying just like in work, you don't like everybody you work with, but you're going to have to work with them because you have a common mission, common goal at the end of the day. And that's all we're saying here today, is that we're trying to get something done. The only way we're going to get something done is and when we stop stepping in each other's ways. We may not like each other, we may not agree with each other, but we have to understand, together we're a force, and we're a force to be reckoned with as long as we stick together and move together.
Well, Richard, you asked how you could help, and I want to answer that. The 11th day of every month campaign was started nearly 3 years ago, and it has spread around the world. It's inspired hundreds of actions in countries all around the world, but most importantly, what it has done is create a mechanism to keep activism, to keep 9/11 truth outreach in communities all around the world, to keep it going. Okay, it's provided a heartbeat, and that heartbeat that pumps every 30 days, or 28 days, or 31 days, it's pumping, it's keeping on going, and we're coming up on 3 years now